These amateur robbers thought hitting a local jewelry store run by a 70-year-old woman would be the easiest score of their lives. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated her. And before the sun went down, she showed them exactly who she really was. The story begins in Brazil. We see a man named Andy, who has just arrived with his wife Gina. They're here on vacation, and both of them look genuinely happy. As they get close, Gina says how wonderful it feels to be here. We soon learn they actually live in New York. Gina believes life there is very different. Andy never has time for her, and their relationship has grown sour. But here in Brazil, they're lost in each other's world, and Gina loves it. After saying this, she begins to cry, because she had always dreamed of a life where her husband was truly present. Andy also starts reflecting on her words. The scene shifts to New York. A woman enters a jewelry store to open it for the day. Suddenly, a man wearing a mask and holding a weapon storms in. He points it at her and begins filling a bag with jewelry. He even knows the safe's combination and opens it. Then he demands another key from the woman, but even with it, he can't unlock the drawer. Frustrated, he tries to smash it with the weapon, but fails. The older woman watches carefully, noticing his anger and distraction. She seizes the moment, strikes back, and a shot goes off. It hits the thief's foot, and she's knocked to the ground. The thief panics and tries to run. The woman sees the weapon lying nearby. She picks it up again and fires. The man crashes through the glass and falls outside, ending his attempt. We then see his partner fleeing in fear. After a short distance, we learn this man's name is Hank. The story now shifts into flashback. 3 days earlier. Hank is at his daughter's sports match. Divorced long ago, he's supposed to pay child support every month, but he hasn't for several months. He loves his daughter deeply and wants his money to go toward her well-being. Here, Hank meets Andy. We discover they are brothers. From Andy's words, it's clear he knows Hank is broke. He talks to him about it. Later, after Hank's daughter's match ends, he takes her home. There, he meets his ex-wife, who is furious. She berates Hank, saying he hasn't paid for months. She reminds him he promised to care for his daughter, but he's failing her. Even her tuition fees aren't being covered. Hank stays silent and leaves. That night, Andy calls Hank to meet. Sitting together, Andy says, "I know about your situation. You have no money at all. And these days, I'm also in trouble." Andy says, "That's why I've made a plan. With it, the problem between us will end. We just have to take from a shop." Hank reacts, "What are you talking about? I'm not a criminal. Taking from a shop is dangerous." Andy insists, "There will be no danger. No violence. You just have to trust me." Hank replies, "Okay, I'll have to think about it." The next day, Hank leaves work early and goes straight to meet Gina. The two get close, and we discover Hank is having an affair with his own brother's wife. Hank tells Gina, "We should run away together. We're so happy with each other." Gina answers, "But you'll need money to run away. And you don't have any." Hank says, "I'll arrange the money. I have a new scheme. Just agree to leave with me." Gina thinks for a moment and says, "What we have right now is fine." That night, Hank attends his daughter's school play. Afterward, he tells her, "I'm proud of you." She replies, "I need $100 for a trip." Hank promises, "I'll give you the money." But deep down, he knows he has none. His ex-wife laughs at his empty promise. Frustrated, Hank goes back to Andy and says, "I'm ready. Tell me the plan." Andy warns, "If I tell you once, you can't refuse. Are you ready?" Hank nods. Andy explains, "We'll take from our parents' jewelry shop. Only a 70-year-old woman is there, and she can barely see. It'll be easy. No violence." Hank is shocked. "Are you kidding?" Andy replies, "No. I've thought it through. Even if we take from the shop, the insurance company will repay our parents. They won't lose anything. It's a win-win." Still unsure, Hank hesitates. Andy hands him $2,000. "This solves your problem for now. Imagine how much more you'll have after this job. Think about it." Hank leaves and immediately gives the money to his ex-wife, clearing old arguments. Now he's ready. That evening, Hank approaches a bartender named Bobby. He knows Bobby does shady work from time to time, making him the right partner. Hank pays him and says, "Meet me tomorrow. We're doing this job." Bobby agrees. But the next day, Bobby doesn't show up on time. Hank goes to his house and sees Bobby's small family, his wife and child. Bobby finally gets ready and comes out. Hank stops his car outside a shop, goes in, and buys a wig and a fake mustache for himself. As soon as Hank sits in the car, Bobby laughs at him. "You've never done anything wrong. I can tell just by looking at you. So, you won't go inside the shop. You stay in the car. I'll go in, take everything, and come out. You just start the car." After saying this, Bobby puts on a CD, plays a song, and gets ready. The story jumps back to the present. Bobby is gone, and Hank is fleeing in panic. After a while, Hank reaches a public phone booth. He calls Andy directly and explains what happened. The story then shifts into flashback. 4 days earlier. We see Andy, deeply worried about money. He's so stressed he even uses substances at the office. His boss walks in and says, "We've scheduled an emergency meeting. You'll have to attend." At the meeting, Andy learns the IRS audit is coming soon. He panics. He's committed a major financial scam at the company, and all the money is gone. If the audit exposes him, he'll be caught and possibly jailed. Terrified, Andy goes straight to a dealer's house, uses more substances, and starts talking about his life, his job, his desire for peace, and how everyone hopes he can bring stability. But in reality, his life is collapsing. A woman there tells him, "Share these things with your wife. Don't bring them here." But Andy hides everything from Gina. When Gina tries to be close to him at home, Andy pulls away. Since returning from Brazil, he hasn't been intimated with her even once. Their relationship is breaking again, and Andy feels it. He tells Gina, "I know how happy we were in Brazil. We'll go back. I'll even learn the language. If it makes you happy, I'll do it. I just need time." Gina smiles, reassured. The next day, Andy visits a shop that deals only in illegal jewelry. He talks to the man and leaves, thinking about his plan, to take from his parents' jewelry store. He meets Hank, and together they finally carry out the job. But in the present, when Andy learns what happened, he loses control. Then his father calls, "Come to the hospital quickly. I've also called Hank." When they arrive, they discover the shocking truth. The only person in the jewelry shop that day was their mother. She is gravely injured and now in a coma. Hearing this, both brothers are devastated. How could this happen? The story shifts again, flashing back to the day before, when we see their parents, Charles and Nanette. The next day, Charles has an eye test scheduled. Just then, he gets a call at home. The woman who works at the jewelry shop tells him she has some personal work tomorrow and won't be able to come. Hearing this, Charles says, "Then I'll cancel my appointment. I'll go the day after tomorrow." But Nanette insists, "If the doctor called you tomorrow, you'll go tomorrow. As for the shop, I'll handle it myself." Charles agrees. After his eye exam, Charles returns to find police outside the shop. Nanette has been gravely injured. At the hospital, doctors reveal her brain activity has stopped. Charles is shattered. The doctors say she can only be kept alive on machines, but there's no hope. Charles learns Bobby was found outside the shop and goes to the police for answers. But they offer no help. Time passes. Andy visits Charles and says, "The hospital called. They want the machine freed. They can't keep someone on it this long if there's no hope. We'll have to decide." Charles breaks down even more. Soon after, Nanette passes away. Today is her funeral. Hank is devastated, believing his mother's death is his fault. He storms off in anger. But Charles doesn't give up. He keeps pressing the police, convinced Bobby wasn't alone during the robbery. The story flashes back. We see Hank erasing his fingerprints inside the rental car. Back in the present, Andy confronts Hank, shouting, "No matter what happens, the police must not reach us. You've cleaned everything, right?" Hank says yes. But that night, Hank gets a call from the rental company. The owner says, "You left the car straight. Come collect it." Hank panics. The next day, he goes to the shop. Instead of the owner, a staff member is there. Hank tries to explain, but the staff refuses to listen. Later, Hank goes to a bar for a drink. There, he sees Bobby's wife with her brother, Dex. Seeing Dex, Hank realizes his trouble is about to grow. Dex says, "I know everything. You took Bobby with you, and then he disappeared. So there are two ways. First, I go to the police with my sister and tell them everything. You know what they'll do to you. Or second, you give me $10,000. Hank agrees. Dex warns, you have limited time. If you don't pay, I'll finish you. You don't know who I am. Terrified, Hank rushes straight to his ex-wife and asks her for money. Hank's ex-wife explodes. How dare you ask me for money? Your daughter asked you for $100, and you couldn't even give her that. For months you haven't paid the support you owe me, and now you come here asking for money? Get out of my house. Hearing this, Hank leaves devastated. He even thinks about ending his life. He considers using substances but cannot go through with it. The next day, Hank goes to the rental shop. He doesn't have his ID, but somehow manages with his credit card and gets the work done. On the other side, Andy receives a call from his office. They tell him everything has been discovered. Legal action will follow if he doesn't return the money. Andy panics and rushes to the dealer's house. But she refuses to let him in, saying, "You need an appointment first." Meanwhile, Andy recalls meeting his father at the hospital. His father had apologized. "I was always strict with you because I wanted to make you better." Andy, bitter, replied, "I always felt I wasn't part of this family. Everything that happened was because of you. No matter what, I wanted to be like everyone else, but not like you." His father struck him. Andy stormed out in anger. Gina beside him in the car. On the way, Andy broke down, crying, "I never wanted to be like my father. Because of that, I became someone else entirely. I never tell anyone what's happening inside me." Hearing this, Gina realizes Andy is carrying something heavy that's destroying him from within. The next day at home, Gina pleads, "Don't go to work today. Stay with me." But Andy refuses. She warns, "If you leave and come back, maybe you won't find me here." Andy still doesn't listen. When he returns, Gina has packed her things. She tells him, "I never felt this house was a home. Sometimes I even felt you weren't my husband, because you never shared your life with me. I'm leaving you forever. And I want you to know, I've been having an affair for a long time. That man was none other than your brother." Andy is shattered. Meanwhile, Charles is at the police station. Determined to uncover the truth, he decides to investigate the robbers himself. He knows where jewelry in the city is sold. He heads to the same shop Andy had visited earlier. From these two, we learn they already know each other and were once good friends, since Charles was also in the jewelry business. The old man understands why Charles came, but doesn't want to reveal anything. As Charles begins to leave, the old man says, "A man came here. I thought he was a policeman, so I asked him many questions. To win my trust, he gave me his card. Here it is." The card belongs not to anyone else, but to Andy. As soon as Charles sees it, he realizes the truth. Andy was behind everything, and he could do this. Meanwhile, Hank calls Andy and tells him about Dex demanding $10,000. Andy thinks for a moment and says, "Come meet me now." Andy is planning to leave the country. He gathers all his belongings and money from home, then goes to his office, collects more cash, and meets Hank. Hank says, "We'll give Dex $10,000. If we pay him, everything will be fine." Andy replies, "No. He'll blackmail us again. Now you're finally using your mind. Come with me." He takes Hank straight to the dealer's office. Inside, Andy sees a man in a dangerous state. Fearing trouble, Andy eliminates him. But as he does, he screams. Andy is not a killer by nature, but today he has crossed all limits. He also eliminates the woman there. Hank protests, "What are you doing? We didn't need to hurt her." Andy insists, "She's a dealer. If we left her alive, she'd send the whole gang after us tomorrow." Now they head to Dex. Entering his house, Andy immediately searches for him and fires. But Bobby's wife is also there, and Andy fires at her too. Hank explodes, "Are you insane? You'll have to take me out before her." Andy turns on him, "You're on my list too. I know about you and Gina." Hank breaks down. "Then end me. I've done terrible things. I even tried to end myself but couldn't. If you finish me, you'll be doing me a favor." Andy looks into Hank's eyes, trembling as he prepares to pull the trigger. But before he can, Bobby's wife fires at Andy. He collapses. She screams at Hank, "Get out of my house." Hank grabs a bag, drops it for her, and runs. He doesn't realize Charles has been following him all along. Charles sees Hank fleeing. Soon, police arrive. Andy is taken to the hospital, still alive. Charles visits him. Andy, crying, says, "We weren't going to do anything wrong. I didn't know Mom was there. I didn't know that man would bring a weapon. He was just supposed to grab the jewelry and run. Later, you'd claim insurance and get all the money." Hearing this, Charles breaks down. He tells Andy, "Sleep." As Andy closes his eyes, Charles places a pillow over his face and ends him. Crying, Charles leaves the hospital in tears. The film ends here. So, friends, our video ends here. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.